What's happening, guys? Martin Martinez back again. So this is a quick video for you, just getting back into it. So back now after my trip, doing what I was doing, seeing what was going on. And it's just really just to talk about my thoughts in the comparison of Madrid compared to Barcelona. So I spent some time in Madrid back in the day. I actually lived there for a few months. We're talking quite a few years ago, but nonetheless, I spent some time there. I got to see what it was like to be in Madrid, to see the different areas. You've got Atocha, you've got these places, Gran Via, all these different places. Just to go around, I was in the suburbs outside of the center of Madrid, but I was outside of that side. And I think, to be honest, it's not really a place I particularly enjoyed. I think, and again, this is just talking from my perspective. It could have changed now. We're talking a few years ago, but it could have changed now. But in comparison to this and Barcelona, from what I saw just recently, initially, Madrid to me is like London, and I don't live in London, and I wouldn't want to live in a busy place like that. But Madrid to me is a little bit like, it's the top of Spain. Obviously, it's the capital, but it's like the top of Spain, and this type of, I think, a little bit of an attitude about, kind of we're the best of the best, or the best that it could be. And I actually felt, to be honest, that there's definitely racism going on there. And it's not necessarily just a black or white thing. It's to the point where I got the feeling even a little bit that even people that come from South America, even people that have that sort of Latino background, seem to be kind of treated slightly more like second-class citizens than the blancos, than the white, white Spanish. And it's the kind of feeling of, I can tolerate you because you're here, but don't talk to me. I mean, when I was there, I've been there loads of times now, but when I was there living there, I remember even getting stopped by undercover police, basically asking me for my documents. I'm not being funny, but I'm not exactly dressing like I'm in rags. And I was asking for my documents. I want to show them just the UK driver license straight away. Británico Unido, don't worry about it, don't worry. And then moved on. I was thinking, like, what the fuck, So it's kind of like a strange scenario for me to go from a country where, and again, I'm in the UK, to go from a country where, don't get me wrong, again, there's racism everywhere you go, but, to go from a country where you kind of, to some extent, accepted, or, if I see you, I don't see a big deal about it. Whereas to go to Madrid and get this type of feeling, or, one thing I've noticed a little bit is like, maybe sort of like the Spanish language itself isn't necessarily culturally sensitive, and the way certain things can be said, again, if you speak Spanish, you pick up on these things, is just that it could be seen as a little bit, crude, the way certain things can be said. Even though the person may not have that intention, this is just something that comes across. So for me, again, and we're talking just in general, black guy doing his thing, you're only going there, you're only studying, you're just walking around, see what's going on. Again, you're no different from anybody else. That's the whole point of going to these places. And, that's kind of the feeling I got. It's a little bit cold towards me. And it's not a place I definitely would want to live. I don't mind passing through there on the way to somewhere else, but it's not a place that I would really spend my time and my money to be there for any length of time. That's just my perspective. However, interestingly enough, Barcelona seemed to be completely the reverse, in the sense of, don't get me wrong, again, I've not lived in Barcelona. At some point, who knows, maybe I will. But in comparison to Madrid, obviously, yes, you've got the metro system, you've got the underground, everything else like it's fantastic, it looks good, everything else like that. It kind of reminded me a little bit like Portugal for some reason, don't know why, or Lisbon, the way it comes with the metro and the underground. But that being said, Barcelona seemed to have more of a, more mix of people. And when I was there, as I say, like, I didn't feel like I stood out. I didn't feel like I was particularly, this guy across the road, what's going on. When I remember I was in Madrid, I was just in a coffee shop in Starbucks, just having a drink, looking at the window. I remember a guy was walking past and giving me one of the strangest looks I've ever seen. And I know it was just because, like, why are you here? Or it doesn't make sense why you're sat in there in Starbucks of all places. I don't know why. But however, and again, that's literally in Plaza del Sol. That's literally in the center of Madrid. Whereas Barcelona, I was eating, I was doing my thing. No one saying anything to me. I was walking down the street, didn't feel any type of way. I saw black people. I saw loads of black people. I saw mixed race black people with different families. I saw black children with white families. I didn't see any type of, or get any type of feeling necessarily of why you here sort of thing. And when I was in a taxi, going to a particular place, one taxi driver, who was from Pakistan, actually. He said he lived there for 20 years, Pakistan, and he told me an interesting story. And he was saying that it's basically like for him, and I asked him, like, how did he find living there? And he said, his children grown up there. He said he has no feeling of any racism. Yes, it's going to happen and people have their preferences, but he didn't feel like he was discriminated against in any particular type of way. You know, even to the point where he was saying that he could put his, you know, park his car and do his prayers, a particular on the road on the side at a certain place. No one was giving him any issues. He said, you know, to him this is like his own little paradise, and he's happy to be here. Obviously, cost of living, everything else like that. But you know, I didn't get any particular feeling of why is this guy here, or you know, people know maybe you're not from there, and the way I dress probably suggests that I'm not from there, which is understandable. You know, the first thing, depending on what you say, the first thing people may speak to you in English, but if you start responding in Spanish, they'll just speak to you in Spanish. So I didn't get any type of feeling of it doesn't make sense. Whereas in Madrid, I kind of got that feeling. Madrid felt very sort of like, you know, uppity type of way, and you know, like if you're here, just get out of the way while you're here sort of feeling. So that's my thoughts on that. I did spend some time in Valencia, but I can talk about that in another video. But compared to the two places, Madrid versus Barcelona, I'm gonna say Barcelona probably got my you know, my eyes directed towards it if I was ever to try and spend some time there again. But as a black person, Barcelona seems to be the one. However, I'm sure there are people who still have obviously opinions. So leave your comments down below, guys. I do appreciate you for your comments and your likes and so forth. I'll try and get back to the comments as well if you have something positive to say. And I'll see you next video. Peace.